Okay, so I am Caitlin, and I am a community development manager from the Lima office, and I am also a professional photographer in the Northwest Ohio area. I'm based out of Leipsic, but I am in like Findlay and Lima, Toledo. So I am here to teach you guys steps 1 and 2 of the digital photographer badge for juniors. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like to be a professional photographer, and then like go through some photography basics. Good morning. And I want to do it outside because it's beautiful outside. So, and I have some notes. So a little bit about me. I started my photography business in 2017, so 3 years ago, but I've been doing photography for a lot longer than that. I have been taking photos of my daughter for 5 years because she's 5 now, and I really got into photography when my husband was sick. He had cancer, so I wanted to take pictures for him so he could see stuff that he couldn't. I mainly take photos of weddings and families, but I really, really like taking wedding photos. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think it's just awesome to see brides and love, and it's just really cool. So it's a little bit about my business and what I really like to do. Oh, another thing that I really like to do, oh my gosh, is I take pictures for businesses. So I do what's called like brand and photography photos. So businesses will send me products, and I take, oh, there's a bee. I take pictures of their products so that they can list those items on their websites, on Etsy, on Facebook. And that's a really fun thing to do too. And my daughter also models. So I take those pictures as well. So to get a little bit into like the meat of photography. So there are a lot of different like cameras, and I have some of those in front of me right now. Obviously, cell phones have cameras, right? So I have my cell phone right here. It's an iPhone. It's not the iPhone Pro. It's just the 2 cameras, which is a lot of cameras on a cell phone, because when I had my first cell phone, I don't even think it had a camera on it. But cell phones take some really nice photos now. So you can use your cell phone to take some really nice pictures, especially with some things that I'm going to teach you today. There are types of cameras that are called point and shoots. So I have a point and shoot right here. They're called point and shoots because you can literally pick them up, point it, and take a picture. You don't have to know a lot about the camera. There are different settings on it to make photos a little bit different or look nicer, but you can literally pick it up, take a picture, and you're good to go. And then like the next step up, they're called DSLR cameras, which stands for digital single lens reflex camera. And that's the type of camera that I use in my business. And I have a couple here. And there are 2 types of DSLR cameras. So there's what's called a crop sensor. There's what's called a full frame. And this one is a crop sensor. I don't have a lens on it. But what's cool about DSLR cameras are that you can change the lens on them. So I'm going to take my cap off. If you have a DSLR at home, like if mom or dad have one, or if you have one, taking this cap off and leaving it open, you're not really supposed to do that, because dirt and dust can get inside and it can scratch the insides of it. But this is my like backup, and it's seen some stuff, so I'm going to show you the inside of it. But don't do this at home. So you take the cap off to put the lens on, and if you look inside, you can kind of see me, but there's a mirror in there and there's a sensor in there. And the light goes inside and it reflects off the mirror and goes into the sensor, and that's how the picture is taken. And I can actually just put a lens on it. This is one of my lenses. So there's like a red dot on there. There's a red dot right there. You snap it on. So the cool thing about DSLRs is that you can change all the lenses. So I said that this was a crop sensor, and that just means that when I put this lens on it, whatever this lens can take, it just crops that photo down a little bit because the sensor is smaller in this camera. This one is a full frame, and it's a lot bigger than this one, you can tell. And it's heavier. So I started with a crop sensor. Now I have a full frame. And the full frame has a bigger sensor in it, and it can take a bigger photo. So I'm trying to explain this a little bit better. So this is like the size that the full frame can take. The crop sensor can maybe take that size of the photo. But the full frame, like I said, it's heavier. It's a little more expensive. And it can take in more light because that sensor is bigger. The sensor is what takes in the light of the photo. So remember, the light comes in, reflects into the lens, reflects off of the mirror, goes into the sensor. The sensor is small. It can only take in so much of that light. When it's bigger, it can take in more of that light. More light means that the picture is going to be sharper and it's going to be clearer. So a full frame is a little bit nicer to use. So yeah. There's also other cameras. There's mirrorless cameras. So the mirror that's inside of my camera on a mirrorless camera, there isn't a mirror. But those are really nice too, and they're a lot lighter because the mirrors are kind of heavy. And then there are the lenses. There are different types of lenses. So there are zoom lenses, and then there are prime lenses. Zoom lenses zoom. So I have a couple of those here. There's like this one. You see, like when you zoom, it's like longer. That just means that like you can sit here and you can take a picture wide, far away, and get everything in the photo, or you can zoom it in and you can get closer without having to move. It's really nice. And I have like a little zoom lens, then I have a medium-sized zoom lens, and then I have like this really big one. This is one of my wedding lenses. It's called a 7200, so it can zoom in very, very far. The bigger the number, the further it can zoom in. So this is really nice if I like can't go up to an altar where they're getting married. I can stand very far back and I can zoom in very far and get a picture of them kissing. So that's nice. This one on my camera that I'm using a lot, this is a prime lens. Primes don't zoom. Primes are nice because they are sharp, which means that they don't, like, the lines in them are very nice, and they're very clear, and they're very crisp, and the color is very nice, but they don't zoom. So what do you think I need to use to zoom? If the lens doesn't zoom, how do I zoom? How do I get close? I have to use my feet. I have to walk. So yeah. And then something else about photography. You have like different photographers that use different lighting. So some photographers have studios, and in studios they might have lighting in their studios where you go in and there's like these big stands with big lights on them that flash. And then other photographers don't have those. They do a lot of their photos outside. I'm kind of in between. I don't have a studio, but I do use lighting. I use lighting. Hi, Jennifer. I use lighting like for weddings. And one of my lights is a speed light, which is what this is. And it attaches to the top of my camera like this. And it locks in. And you turn it on and then it charges and it flashes. And it adds just a little bit of light. But usually I don't take photos indoors. I like to take pictures outside, which is part of the reason why I chose to be outside. So, do you guys have any questions about what it's like to be a photographer or about photography? So I'm going to talk to you guys. That was step 1. Step 2, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about like how to take some really good photos, because step 2 is to go out and take lots of pictures. And there are a few ways that you can take some really great pictures. And you can take them with your cell phone. You can take them with mom's phone, dad's phone. If you have a point and shoot, like that camera that you pick up and you just take a picture, use that. You can use a webcam if you have a computer at home that just has a webcam. You can go outside and walk around with like your phone and take pictures. So to take some really great pictures, there are a couple of photography rules to keep in mind. The one like very basic rule that every photographer should know is the rule of thirds. Now, rules, you don't have to follow every rule, but it's nice to know them. So photography is about creativity, but keeping the rules in the back of your mind is really nice, right? And so, rule of thirds. I took an old picture that I took 4 years ago, and I drew on it. But the rule of thirds is like a tic-tac-toe board, and you want to keep your subject, which is what you're taking a picture of, in 2/3 of the tic-tac-toe board. So this is the picture. This is my daughter. She is now a daisy. So this is how old this picture is. But if you look, my tic-tac-toe board is on here, and she's in 2/3 of the tic-tac-toe board. And then this side is open space. And what this does is it draws the person's eye to that 2/3, and it makes it very nice, like very appealing. It's called an interesting composition, and composition is the position of the objects that you're taking a picture of. There are some questions. So I'm going to pause. Let's see. What's my favorite thing to take photos of? I'm going to say it's a tie. I really, really like to take pictures of my own daughter. Because I just do. I like having pictures of her at every moment of her life. And then I also really like taking wedding pictures. Specifically, I like taking pictures of like the details of the wedding. So the wedding dress, the rings, that sort of thing, flowers. What do you do for the wedding pictures? I'm not exactly sure what part of the wedding pictures you want me to answer, but I take pictures of the whole wedding. So I take pictures of the bride and the girls getting ready, the groom and his boys getting ready. I take pictures of all of the details. I take pictures of the cake. I take pictures of the ceremony. So when they actually get married, I take pictures of them, like the bridal party. So all of the groomsmen and the bridesmaids between the wedding and the reception. I go to the reception and I take pictures of them dancing and having fun. I take pictures of just everything, really, all of the wedding. I'm usually there from about lunchtime until about 9 o'clock at night. So it's a whole day that I'm there. And then I edit all the photos and I give them to them. How do I get invited to the wedding? So the way that works is I have my business, and I have a website, and I have a Facebook page, and I have lots of people that I've already done work for, so weddings and pictures, and sometimes I get referred. Sometimes people Google and they find me on Google. Sometimes they find me on Facebook, and they reach out to me, and we talk about like how much I charge, what I offer, and then they will pay for me to come and take pictures of their weddings, and it's really neat. And then part of it, my favorite part, I would say, other than taking the pictures, I like taking the pictures, is the cake, because I always get cake at the wedding, and I get to eat the food, so that's fun too. The best way to take a picture of your pet, it kind of depends on what pet it is. So we have 2 dogs and we have 2 cats, and our cats are very good. They like just sit there and let me take pictures of them. My dogs I have to chase around and give them treats. And we also have a guinea pig, and he'll just sit there and let me take pictures of him too. So I'm going to go back to this and then I'll come back to questions. Okay. So another part of taking a really good picture is lighting. So knowing your lighting. There are 4 different kinds of lighting that I'm going to talk about. There's probably a million more, but one type of lighting is backlighting. So backlighting is when like your source of light, so it could be the sun, or it could be like the light that I showed you, or light in your house, is when it's behind you. So when your light is behind you. And sometimes it's really cool because it can make a really neat effect and make like your subject look like a silhouette or a shadow, but it's not always the best because it can make them very shadowy and dark. Another one is frontlet. So that's like when your light is in front of your subject, and that's really nice because your subject is fully lit and you can see them very well. But sometimes that's not good either, because if the light is too bright, then your subject might squint. Like if you think about like when it's really bright outside and you're facing the sun and you're squinting, your subject is going to look very good because they're squinting. It can also cause like your face to be like shiny, and it'll not look so, it'll be bright and shiny and washed out. Side lit. I'm sorry if my internet is cutting out. Side lit is really nice. It's kind of what I am right now. The sun is on me sideways, and then this side is shadowed a little bit, and I'm lit pretty well right now. And diffused is nice because that's like when it's cloudy out, but it's still bright enough that you can get, there's not harsh shadows, there's not it's not too bright. Your subject won't squint if you're taking pictures of a my mailman's here. Thank you. Yep. The subject won't squint if there's too much light, that sort of thing. So diffused is nice. Diffused is like if it's cloudy or if it's really bright and sunny out, you can go into shade, and that would be diffused light. So let's see. So those are some like tips and tricks to take some really good pictures. In my opinion, what's the best plants to take pictures of? I really like taking pictures of flowers. I have a really pretty tree back here, right here, that I like to take pictures of. Is the setting different from Ohio than New Jersey? Actually, I have a really good friend who lives in Ohio, but she's from New Jersey, and she's a photographer too. And I think that the setting would maybe be different. I don't know. I've never been to New Jersey, but Ohio has a lot of cornfields. In my part of Ohio has a lot of different settings. So, but where I'm at, there's a lot of cornfields, and it's very, very flat. So I don't know if that's different. You got to let me know if that's different, because we've got a lot of fields and a lot of corn. So where I'm at, there's parts of Ohio where it's all city too. So, what's the best way to take a picture while people are moving? So that would be if you have one of those DSLR cameras, so the type that I use for my business, learning how to take pictures in manual mode is very helpful. So there's two different types of modes. There's auto mode and there's manual mode. When you're learning how to take pictures, learning how to just take basic photos in auto is the way to go, because you are literally learning like composition and lighting. Manual mode is being able to change all of the settings in the camera and tell it to do everything. And when you do that, you can change what's called the shutter speed, and that's how fast the shutter closes to take the picture. It's like, I always call it winking when I am showing kids how the photo is being taken. So I don't know if I can make it show on here or not. Okay, so if you look, I don't know if you can see or not, but if you look in there, there's like an opening and it clicks and it winks, and I can make the shutter speed go slow, and maybe you can hear it, and I can make it go really slow, or I can make it go really, really, really fast. So the faster the shutter speed, the easier it's going to be to take like fast moving photos, because the shutter is going to capture it really quick. If you do slow shutter speed, you're going to get everything, but people are going to be very blurry. Slow shutter speeds are really good to take like night photos because it takes in more light. Oh, thank you. I'm a very nice person. Is photography what I always wanted to do? It's not what I always wanted to do. I went to school for education, and I have a teaching license, and I work at Girl Scouts, and I really, really love working at Girl Scouts. And photography kind of just happened. And I really, really love it. And I love that I'm able to do both. I'm able to work with children and work with girls and do that part of my work in my life. And then I'm also able to do photography. So I'm able to do both, and I love that I'm able to do it. Yeah, the mailman. I think I got some Easter stuff for Sophie, a book. Some good steps to start photography. So I would say the first thing to do is to practice. Lots and lots and lots of practice. When I got my first camera, when this all started, I just took lots of photos. I was taking pictures all the time, to the point where I think my husband was just annoyed. So lots of pictures, lots of practice, play around, just practice. And then once you are familiar with your camera and you're familiar with the different rules of photography, then start taking steps on, learning some new things. And there are different places where you can learn things online. You can go to college for photography. You can reach out to local photographers and ask them if you can help out, if you can assist with their photography, if you can mentor with them. If you're into like wedding photography when you're older, you can ask if you can help at weddings. I'm always open to having a girl help me with my weddings. I have lots of equipment that needs carried, and I have things that need set up, and I have extra cameras that can be used if that girl is into helping. And when they're old enough, I am more than happy to also start paying for help too. So there are photographers that definitely are always looking for assistance and always looking to help mentor the younger girls and younger kids into photography. It's a great outlet for emotions and for creativity, and yeah, it's fun. So that was step 1 and 2. To finish step 2, you just got to go take pictures. So get out there, take pictures of flowers, take pictures of your parents, take pictures of your pets, take pictures of whatever, grass. So look for bugs. Yeah. And then, so for the last steps, step 3 is to edit some photos, and then step 4 is to create a digital photography project. I recommend, if you don't already have some programs on your computer, so like what I use as a professional is Photoshop and Lightroom, which are programs that I have to pay for, but you can use what's called Canva. It's CANVA.com, and you can put your photos on there and you can edit them there. You can change like the filter on them, so kind of like Instagram. You can crop them, you can make them smaller. You can do a whole bunch of like fun stuff on there and make them look a little bit different. So you can edit them on there, and then you can make a project on there. So you can make like a collage with your different pictures. You can make a poster, you can make a card and then send it in to be printed and send it to like grandma or a friend or a teacher. And you can make that your digital photography project for your step 4. So step 3 would be to edit. So you can edit that on Canva. And then step 4, you can make a photography project on there too. And you don't have to print it. You can just export it and then post it somewhere. And then step 5 is to share your photos. So feel free to like share them in the comments here. I would love to see your photos and let you know what I think of them. I'm sure that you're going to have some great things. I can go out and take some photos today and share them too if you want me to. And yeah, so if you have any more questions, throw them in the comments. If you are interested in learning more about Girl Scouts, please go to gswo.org/join. And I look forward to seeing what you guys make, and thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun. Sorry that my internet kept cutting out. Bye.